As we approach autumn, it's a good time of year to go for walks, and in this video I'll show you some of the things you can find in country parks near me in England. It's quite interesting because some of the wild fruit that grows can be applied to growing on your own plots. Anyway, have a look and see what you think. Now that it is finally September, it's a perfect season to get these sloes. Some of them, because we've had a lot of sunshine recently, look well ripe. Perfect for those autumn recipes. And these sloes look very beautiful. As blue as they'll get, I imagine. This yellow cherry plum is still heavily laden, and these will be a lot riper than when I came before, much earlier. Seem to stay on the tree quite well, I would say. There's a few fallen ones. Overall, a really pretty crop. Cherry plums are very similar to mirabelles actually, but there seem to be lots of different varieties here. I'm wondering if they've crossed, because there are some varieties which are very sort of deep dark ruby red, and others which are almost like a peachy colour, which could be a cross. Whether they are mirabelles or plums, they're still nice to see them in the hedgerows. And close by we also have this other variety which may well be a cherry plum as well, which seems to be quite common around here as well. To the country park, and due to the heat and drying winds, a lot of cherry plums have fallen off the hedgerows, and I noticed they'd only been there overnight, so rather than pick them I just took them from the ground. And I just took this amount here, and I'm going to actually get to the stones, crack them open, get to the seeds, and then I'm going to put them in my freezer, because I'm looking up, these are European cherry plums, self-fertile. And basically, as long as you stratify the seeds, that is, keep them cold, you can scratch them slightly, but they need to be kept very, very cold. So I'm putting them in my freezer for a couple of months, and then I'll pop them out over winter. I'll let you know how they get on. Some of them I'll pot out over winter, and some I'll do in the spring, and let's see if they germinate. This is the time of year where I go in the countryside, and on hedgerows where they have lots of these cherry plums. Near me, it's in Derbyshire. I look for the fallen fruit. I'm not going to pick it off the actual trees, I'll let the wildlife have it basically. But anything that's fallen down, brought down by the wind, etc., I'll bring it back home and I'll let it ripen up a bit. Sometimes it takes a week. Then what you do is, once you've eaten the ones you can eat, I have mine in my porridge, you need to crack open the stones to get to the seeds. Now these are unusual because the cherry plum, it's self-fertile. It'll grow up to about 6 metres, but you can contain it at a short height if you want to 2 metres. But the seeds won't germinate just on their own, just straight out of the shell. What you'll need to do is store them at room temperature for a couple of weeks, and then put them in a fridge. And you can leave them in the fridge there for a good 3 months. It's called stratifying. Some people say that on the actual surface of them, if I just zoom in there, you can scratch the surface a little bit. Scarifying, that's called. That sometimes helps with germination. Then you can pot them up, and you're supposed to keep them nice and cold when they're potted up. And here we have my cherry plum seeds in the fridge. This is stratifying. I'll leave them in here for a good month or so and try and keep them at this nice cold temperature. Then I'll put them in the freezer, and then next year around February pot them out. Well, I hope that was interesting to you, because that's one of the things that might actually work on my allotment, and it seems as if cherry plums are a lot more disease resistant than the dessert varieties that I grow. But I like the challenge of having to fight against the pests and things like that, but these look like they might be a bit more reliable.